Ken and Dora the Explorer go swimming in the sewer.
Holy Grail of Lego pieces found from sea spillage in 1997.
What does the fox say?
And they say nothing can stop the U.S. Air Force. But is there something? All this and more coming up on The Talking Gruse. I want that bird so I can mount him on my car. And I won't get it.
It's like the Flintstones.
Yeah, I won't get into trouble because I'm not trying to impersonate a police officer. It's the bird's fault.
Yeah. How many people can we get together to moon the adjudicator?
Oh,
yeah.
And everybody, welcome to episode 10 of The Talking Gruse. Hey, co-host, so have you ever wanted to drive in the carpool lane, but you just couldn't?
Plenty times,
yeah. You're sitting there watching people in it, and I mean, I don't know about you, but I'm a law-abiding citizen. I feel generally bad if I'm riding in the carpool lane.
Without a carpooler?
Without a passenger. But I think they solved that problem in California.
Yeah, it looks like the California Highway Patrol has caught somebody and shared a photo of a dummy passenger that earned several citations for a driver in the carpool lane. We do have a picture here.
Yeah, let's get that up. There we go.
All right. I don't know who that looks like, but he needs a cigarette and a little bit more of a hoodie there.
Yeah, but that's actually really at a distance. That guy is actually really looks real.
Looks real. Looks stoned, maybe, but it looks real.
Yeah, real stoned. Like he's taking a nap.
Yeah.
Well, go on.
The CHP Santa Fe Springs station said on Instagram that an officer pulled a vehicle over for crossing solid double lines in the high occupancy vehicle lanes and soon discovered something unusual about the sole passenger. The goatee was sharp, the CHP wrote, just a little too sharp. The goatee, like the rest of the passenger, was made of plastic. The driver was...
I wonder if I styled my goatee to like a perfect point.
Yeah, you'd have to wax it.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'll go get, like that wax, a mustache wax.
Yeah.
I can use that and go...
Do your best ZZ Top impression
Absolutely.
Over there. The driver was subsequently issued a citation for multiple carpool violations. Driving with a dummy?
Well, you remember, your kids can ride with you.
Oh, right. They just can't ride with you while you're pregnant with them.
No, that's true.
Yeah, that was a story from a few years ago here in the valley where somebody got pulled over and she said, "What? I'm driving another person," and that inflamed.
That didn't go over very well.
Yeah.
I mean, so anyway, is there any more on that? I mean, that's pretty much it.
That's pretty much it.
But still, though, I mean, let's
pretty
go back
creative.
and look at that guy. I mean, he's actually really, really, really. I mean, I would have thought it was a real guy if I just glanced over at him.
Yeah. I mean, you had to really look. But that reminds me of the guy here that got caught a few years back driving in a gorilla mask. And he would just go speeding through all the
he would go through the photo radar and all that.
Yeah, and he had a gorilla mask on, so they couldn't prove it was him.
Yeah, well, now they use facial recognition. But if you had the gorilla mask on.
I was going to say, how do they facially recognize a gorilla mask? But...
Well, there's some gorillas in the zoo that are getting tickets now. Now, you know as well as I do, I'm a huge Lego fan, and we've talked about this. And I saw this story came up, and I would love to have actually it would have been me. That would, and I didn't even know this happened. But then again, back in 1997, I really wasn't into Legos again yet. I was getting there. But yeah, go on with what happened here.
So it says that in 1997, 5 million Lego pieces were lost during a storm. Only 4,200 of them were octopuses, or would it be octopi?
Yeah, it could be.
Something
Was
like
it
that.
the Lego Titanic?
Oh, it was it?
I don't know. It could have been.
No wonder it sank. The nearly 3 decades on a boy's hunt for one has finally paid off. It looks like a boy in Cornwall, whose name I'm going to butcher, but try.
Give it a shot.
Leotoris simalanskas. Leotoris simalanskas had been hoping to find a holy grail plastic octopus for 2 years in his hunt for pieces of Legos that had famously fell into the sea in 1997.
Here's a picture of the Lego octopus.
Looks more metal there, but after a few, 27 years in the
ocean.
in the ocean, I'm sure it's not exactly sharp.
Yeah.
Among the let's see, wow, our friend, let's just call him Leo. He was hoping to find one, and among the Lego pieces that fell into the sea were 352,000 pairs of flippers, 97,500 scuba tanks, and 92,400 swords. But octopuses are the most prized objects, as only 4,200 of them were on board. And there's a picture later on in the story that shows like the map that was with it. I don't know if you scroll down a little bit.
Yeah, I did see that. That was interesting.
And yeah, it kind of shows the different pieces that were with it, but it looks like the octopus was the least likely of the pieces. It looks like the father, Vitatas.
Are you sure they weren't from like Norway, or they weren't? They were Denmark, probably. They might have been in Denmark. I mean,
but it was found in what did it say? Cornwall.
Cornwall. Oh yeah, it's probably
they could have been visiting.
Yeah,
but the father says we've been looking for that octopus for 2 years. It's not easy to find, and we were not expecting to find it because it's very rare. Another person named Tracy Williams, who's a beachcomber, is behind the Lego Lost at Sea project, which has spent years finding these plastic pieces since they spilled into the ocean. She said she found one octopus in 1997 and didn't recover another one for 18 years.
Wow.
She says, I think there's, I don't know if Tracy's a he or she here, but I think there's something quite magical.
It says she found.
Oh, okay. My bad. I think there's something quite magical about the octopuses, she says. They're often seen as the holy grail of finds from the shipping container. So
that's actually really cool.
And if you look at this, it really doesn't look like Legos. It is
a Lego. It is a Lego octopus, though. If you're into Legos, that's what Lego octopus looked like at one time. I mean, that's
1997.
1997. So almost 20 years ago, almost 30 years ago now.
Yeah.
I mean, so yeah, that's what Lego octopuses look like.
Octopuses. What Miss Williams calls a quite exciting development, a second Lego octopus was found just 2 days after Leo's discovery. Again, sorry for the butchering of your name there, Leo. This time in
I doubt Leo's listening.
Porthleven, right? Hey, you never know. I think that's because we had a very high spring tide coupled with strong onshore winds, and when the two collide, the waves eat up the dunes and then release a lot of the plastic that is washed up, she explained. Miss Williams has been working on research related to the cargo spill and wrote a book called Adrift, The Curious Tale of the Lego Lost at Sea.
I'm going to have to go buy that now.
I know. I'm like, that must be an interesting read. Look at it. There's another picture here. It just looks like
it has just sea scraps or stuff that washed up on it.
It looks like the box of Legos I had as a kid that got left out in the backyard. I'm recording where it all washes up, so we're working on a map that will form part of a scientific paper to show how far plastic from a cargo spill drifts and what happens to it over time. What we'd like to find out is whether those containers still exist or whether they've long since rusted away. She added, it's intriguing to know what's happened to all the rest of the Lego that we've never seen. There's so many cargoes spilled every year, but you very rarely hear what happens to the goods inside, and what we know from the Lego story is that 27-year-old plastic that was inside shipping containers is still being found.
Well, and the shipping container might not be there, but the Legos are. So what does that tell you? Legos will last forever.
Yeah, build something out of Legos.
Exactly. We need to build a car out of Legos or something.
Yeah,
That would be actually really cool. But also, you remember, so the Air Force has an anthem. They got their little Air Force song. Army has one. Navy has one.
Right.
They all have their own little song. The Marines
nothing can stop the U.S. Air Force.
Yeah, and that was always the line. Nothing can stop the U.S. Air Force.
I remember the commercials.
I think we finally found something that can stop the U.S. Air Force. I really do. And any of you people watching, if you're Air Force veterans, I think we found something, guys. No offense. I come from an Army family, so no offense. But I think we found something that stops it. So go on here.
Looks like a 10-foot alligator has wandered onto an Air Force base in Florida and parked itself on the runway right under the wheels of a plane, effectively stopping the U.S. Air Force.
There we go.
The MacDill Air Force Base in Hillsborough County posted photos to Facebook showing the gator that made its way to the runway on Monday. I'm not sure which Monday that was, and crawled between the wheels of a plane's landing gear. He was just chilling.
Yeah, he's hanging out. I mean, it was probably shaded, and
yeah. He's like,
yeah. I would hang out there. I mean, it looks comfortable,
depending on how loud the engines are.
Well, true, but
the Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission was summoned to the scene and relocated the gator to the nearby Hillsborough River. Our newest toothy airman has been relocated to a more suitable environment off base. Special thanks to the FWC for the assist. They think Elvis being a famously large alligator that has been spotted on the base on numerous previous occasions, they think that Elvis pushed this guy away from home and towards the Air Force Base and, eventually under the plane.
Some Air Force bases are really nice.
Yeah.
They got a lot of everything on it. I mean, it's a small city. I mean, everything you need. So I don't blame the alligator for going to the Air Force Base.
Yeah, when Williams used to be an Air Force Base down in Chandler, they had the commissary. It had a
Mesa.
Oh, that's Mesa. Whatever.
They had the commissary, the base
commissary.
exchange.
They had the bowling alley. They had a gym there.
They had a movie theater,
yeah.
barber shop. They had, like I said, they had the base exchange. They had a little gas station there at the base, and country club, a golf course.
Yeah, and your dad was military, and my dad was former military, and Eric's stepdad
was military.
And Eric's mom used to go shopping at the commissary all the time.
Yeah, and I remember doing that on occasion with us, but didn't do it too often.
Yeah.
But, it was a little bit of a drive. Now it just seems like it's right around the corner. Wow. Kids, you always hear about the monster in the closet. Leave the light on, there's a monster in the closet. And
or under the bed.
Or it reminds me of Bloom County. Did you ever read that comic?
Not really.
They had a character, I think Milo. No, it wasn't Milo. But anyways, one of the characters had his anxiety closet, the kid. And there were all sorts of monsters that lived in there. And they were friendly monsters, but he still had anxiety.
This is where the woke crowd started at.
Yes, exactly.
The anxiety closet. Okay.
So go ahead and listen to this story, folks. This is a good one.
So, a North Carolina toddler's wall turns out to be 50,000 bees. She thought it was a monster. North Carolina woman says her 3-year-old daughter's insistence that there was a monster lurking behind her bedroom wall led to the discovery of more than 50,000 bees. Ashley Class said she and her husband initially thought their daughter was merely imagining the presence of a monster in the closet of her farmhouse bedroom. She was saying she heard monsters in her bedroom wall, but we'd been watching Monsters, Inc. And
we don't have a bee, so we're substituting with crickets.
Okay. She was a little speech delayed, so when trying to explain it, we thought she meant there were monsters in her closet, but it wasn't until after numerous incidents where her daughter heard the supposed monster that she and her husband started spotting bees in the attic. There was a beekeeper, his name's Curtis Collins. He was called to the home and gave them a scare when he said he used a thermal imaging camera on the wall of the daughter's room. He says, "I kid you not, it lit up like Christmas. I was going to say Christmas tree, but it didn't say that. In the wall right next to my daughter's closet," Mrs. Class told NBC News.
You know, they could have just got the Predator over there, and he would have looked in it.
Right.
And they wouldn't have had to go get the thermal imaging device. You know?
Right. Yeah, get Arnold over there. I'll mud him all up so he can't
be detected.
Yeah. When I first thought it was like a man on the wall, I was really startled. It ended up being 50,000 plus bees. Collins ended up removing more than 50,000 bees from inside the walls of the home. He said the hive was twice the size of any other hive he has ever found hiding inside of a house. It was like an apocalypse, is all I can think about, said the little girl's mom. All these bees just started flying out. The bees are leaving her.
That's like an idea from a horror movie.
Right?
That's like something that you would find in a horror movie.
The birds. The bees.
The bees. The birds and the bees.
All right. Well, that's a different movie altogether. She said the bees are leaving her with a $20,000 home repair bill that her insurance has refused to cover. It's good that we saved all the bees, but I'm ready for them to be evicted. So, and that
kick them out.
Reminds me, I was telling you when we were looking at this story, our friend Dave, he found he had bees in the wall of his garage, in between the wall, like the what do you call it, the
wall, the sheetrock.
Yeah, and the actual outside wall, the stucco, and his dad like inserted something into the wall and sprayed insecticide in there, and the bees went nuts, until they died.
Yeah.
But they you could hear them. It was like bees on steroids, and then they were until they were quiet. And now, boy, if anybody ever opens up that wall, they're going to be like, "What the?"
Well, and that'll bring us to another part of today. So, it's like that line from Star Wars of Obi-Wan. It's like 1,000 voices cried out at once and then silenced.
Right.
50,000
in this case.
Yeah. Anyways,
we got a local story.
Yeah, there's a local story that something that happened in Arizona that actually made some news.
I heard this on the radio.
I did not. I did not. I've been busy listening to audiobooks recently, so
I just happen to be flipping radio stations. I usually don't listen to local radio anymore, but
this is actually a really good and sad story. But I don't know. It's good. It's local. It's something that happened here.
So, May 2nd, Arizona wildlife rescuers are urging the public not to capture newborn kittens because they, in some instances, have turned out not to be kittens at all. If you look at the picture we've got here,
and there's a picture.
It kind of looks like a kitten. It's hard to tell because it's such a young animal, but this ended up being a baby fox.
A gray fox, nonetheless.
Oh, what does the fox say?
What does the fox say? Give me back to my mother.
Right. The Arizona Humane Society said a resident recently came to the Southwest Wildlife Conservation Center in Scottsdale with a pair of supposed kittens that they found unattended behind their shed. The wildlife experts quickly realized that the kittens weren't actually kittens. They were all gray fox kits, or wouldn't they be pups?
No, I think foxes were pups.
Okay. The AHS said the foxes will be rehabilitated and released to the wild when they grow old enough. The officials said the saga should serve as an important reminder to leave baby animals alone. Don't kidnap kittens. We know the first instinct when seeing a litter of kittens is to rush to aid, but in fact, the best thing we can do is leave them for when their mom returns, the Post said. Officials wrote that kittens might be left alone by their mothers for up to 8 hours at a time.
Yeah, kit. It's the official term for a baby fox, is a kit.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know, all these baby
Dogs
animals have
is a pup and bears are cubs. And we're not talking about the Chicago Cubs.
Yeah, I'm a little soured on baseball right now.
Yeah, I haven't watched a single game yet.
And Next, we have
So we covered in God, what was it, episode 2, I think, or 3? There was an English company that went out, and it was the largest pipe making company in England.
oh right, and they were doing like a survey of all the different
things that they found in pipes, and this one gets really weird. It gets really weird.
So,
Go ahead.
Among the top things they found in the sewers here.
And this is again from England,
right? This is a Sky News story, right? Oh
no, it's
UPI.
UPI, but it was something that happened in England again.
It says Ken Doll and Dora the Explorer topped the list of odd sewer finds, and boy, this picture of Ken looks like he's part Ken and part Mr. Hanky. I swear.
Yeah, and they're.
Sewer shark. One of Britain's largest water companies said that the most unusual items found in its sewers from May 3rd, include a Dora the Explorer action figure and a Ken doll.
What were Dora and Ken doing in the sewer together?
Let's not find out.
Were they exploring?
What were they exploring?
Yeah.
Severn Trent, which provides water to services to regions including the Midlands, Bristol, the outskirts of Sheffield, and North and Mid Wales, released a list of the strangest and funny things that have made their way into the sewers. Toys, including a Dora action figure, which obviously went on quite an explorative adventure, and a Ken doll topped the list, followed by pieces of a garden shed, false teeth, underwear. That doesn't surprise me, you know.
Yeah, I mean...
And my dad actually lost his dentures or his partials in a toilet accident, flushing them down when he worked at Smitty's in the 80s.
How? But anyways, go on.
And chopped up bed frame.
Now the chopped up bed frame is just about as good as the other one with finding a tent and a sleeping bag.
Right? How do you? Yeah, I mean, did they chop it up and flush it?
Yeah.
Yeah. And if it's that small, how did they know it was a bed frame?
I don't know.
They find the IKEA tag on the side
maybe
or something?
They did.
Other out-of-place items found among the sewage included wallets, keys, cutlery, and car tires.
And once again, car tires. How, unless they opened up like a manhole cover or something and dropped it in.
Yeah, but that'd have to be a pretty big manhole cover to get a tire in there.
Not if you keep squeezing it hard enough. I'm sure you could fit it in.
Maybe if it was, like a little tricycle tire or something. But
like a trailer tire, maybe.
Yeah. Although Grant Mitchell, head of sewer blockages. Wow, that's the job I want.
I want to
Grant, I don't envy your job one bit.
I want to be the chief turd chaser, guys.
That was his former title before it got politically correct.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
The head of sewer blockages.
I wonder if he keeps fiber on hand for the sewer.
Right, just in case.
Get rid of the blockage.
Pour some metal mucil down there. Said it's anyone's guess how some of the larger items came to be in the sewer, but makes the job pretty entertaining for everyone. I guess if you're the head of sewer blockages, it's got to be pretty entertaining, because otherwise you're just swimming up. Yeah,
going up Ship Creek.
Yeah, there you go.
Without a paddle.
But obviously with a Ken doll.
Yeah, and Dora leading the way.
And part of a bed frame, which I guess you could use as a paddle, depending on how big it is.
Exactly.
Although we see items like this at times, the thing we see the most cause blockages are wet wipes and other unflushable items such as nappies, which are diapers in England, and sanitary products, which is probably women's sanitary products. We would urge everyone to keep in mind that only the 3 P's should be put down the toilet: pee, poo, and paper, and bin everything else.
Yeah, instead of throwing it out.
Right.
Pee, poop, and paper. Once again,
anything like reading, writing, and arithmetic?
Yeah, really close.
Wait.
There we go.
Yeah, that's some strange stuff. But you know what? I think the strangest part of the article is the dude's.
Oh, the dude's
Grant
title?
Mitchell.
Yeah, Grant.
Head
his
of
title-
sewer blockages. Again, dude, not jealous of your job title.
I hope you get paid well, Grant.
It's a shitty job, but somebody's got to do
Yeah,
it.
exactly. Now that story came out on May 3rd. So May 3rd was yesterday. Today is May 4th. So to all of our viewers out there, and listeners, we want to say May the 4th be with you. I am sporting Star Wars today because it is Star Wars Day.
And May the 3rd was my daughter's birthday. I want to say happy birthday, Brianna. But anyway.
But May 4th.
May 4th is Star Wars Day.
Star Wars Day.
And she loves Star Wars as much as she loves her birthday. So,
well, there you have it.
We because of our wildly popular Star Wars story from the last time we recorded, we've got some, and the fact that it's May the 4th.
Yeah, we're gonna do a little bit of Star Wars.
Yeah,
I mean, so let me ask you, excluding all these like offshoot stories like Rogue One and the Solo story, what would you say is your favorite Star Wars?
I always liked Empire Strikes Back.
You're dead to me.
Why?
Empire Strikes Back to me was like the filling in an Oreo cookie.
Well, that's it. It had the most story.
Return of the Jedi is my favorite. Return of the Jedi wrapped it all up into a neat little package and said, here's what's happening. This is it. This is what you've been waiting for 2 movies.
Yes and no.
You know, we learned that Darth Vader was
Luke's father.
Well, we learned that in Empire Strikes Back. But we learned that Darth Vader was actually good. He had good in him.
Right.
You know, he wasn't. Darth Vader is the best villain of all time.
Oh yeah.
I mean, AFI, American Film Institute did a study not a study, but they did a top 100 villains of the 100 years of film, and unfortunately, they said Rosebud from Citizen Kane was the top guy.
I've never seen that,
and I've never seen it. But he beat Darth Vader out, and Darth Vader's like 2.
Now I'm gonna have to watch Citizen Kane.
I don't think so, because Darth Vader was just cold, mechanical, but yet he was human still.
Right.
You know, he was cold and mechanical.
And you didn't know that at first until, you caught on a little bit in Empire Strikes Back when they show him putting the helmet on.
Yeah, you caught a little bit of that, but
you didn't know for sure until really near the end.
Yeah, until Obi-Wan told him the story, Luke the story, and when they were on Dagobah.
Right.
You know, but that was a great time to grow up. I mean, we got to, when we were growing up, we got to experience that.
I was about 4, I think, when the first one came out, and my dad took me. I don't think I understood it in the theater, but I remember watching it many, many times on cable TV when it came out.
Yeah, I did too, and I've since then I've seen every movie in the theater.
Yeah, and Empire Strikes Back. I remember my dad took us to see that. 81, I would have been about 8.
Yeah, I was like 7 or so in 81.
Yeah, and then was it 85 or so?
83.
83?
Mm-hmm. So Return of the Jedi.
Oh, it was 77, 80, and 83?
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, I'm a little bit off, but 83, the
Return of the Jedi, the best one.
I was waiting for a little bit off comment there.
We're a little bit off today.
Yeah. It's one of those days.
It's one of those days. We're just a little bit off.
But the Return of the Jedi, I remember seeing that in the theater with my dad, my sister, and a few friends of ours. We kind of went and we all piled in the theater, and it was interesting. For some reason, my favorite scene is the lightsaber battle near the end of Empire Strikes Back. Luke Skywalker
and Darth
and Darth Vader. Yeah, where Darth Vader's just throwing all the machinery at him.
Yeah.
And
he's kicking Luke's ass.
Yeah, and Luke, is hanging off the thing, and that's when he tells him he's his father.
Yeah.
And
nobody, and we'll get to that. That was one of the facts that they kept that so secret.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I've seen
they've kept that so nobody knew that he was going to say that.
A lot of the documentaries have covered that, and the guy, the voiceover of it was
James
David
Earl
Prowse
James
inside
Earl
of
Jones
the
did
suit.
the voice.
Yeah, he didn't. That's not what he said when it was going on.
Yeah.
But James Earl Jones, obviously had the script that was really coming out.
Yeah. Yeah, and that was one of the most earth-shattering things. I remember going to see Empire Strikes Back when I was a kid. My grandmother on my mom's side of the family, we were all out to lunch one day, and it was a summer. Empire Strikes Back was out. It might have been summer, I don't remember, but Empire Strikes Back came out, and my grandma wanted to take us to go see it. And her reasoning for it is she thought Harrison Ford was a good-looking man, and that's why she wanted to go see it.
I think my mom would probably concur on that one.
Oh, he's aged well. He's actually aged very well. I mean, he's a good, classy-looking guy. Always has been, And then Indiana Jones, and we need a president like him from Air Force One.
Get off my plane.
Get off my plane. But yeah, so little Star Wars facts here, and I'm happy to say that I've seen them all in the theater. I've seen all 9 of them in the theater.
Yeah.
And we're coming up this year on the, hard to believe, but the 25th anniversary of Phantom Menace.
Which is weird because in '99 I went to see that in the theater with a guy that I worked with. He got tickets the night it opened, like at midnight.
Yeah.
And I had to hide the fact that I went from my wife at the time because she would have killed me if she knew I saw it without her.
Yeah, I remember going and seeing. I didn't see it the day it opened, but I went and saw it, and it was good. I liked it, but it was good. I mean, I liked it, but it wasn't like Star Wars good.
You know what was really cool is the late '90s before the Phantom Menace came out, when they re-released the original trilogy, and they had like the updated footage and they cleaned it up. And
some of the updated footage stuff they could have just left it be.
I thought they cleaned it up and they made it look even more sharp, and they used the computer technology.
Well, the remastering of it was really good. But here's interesting facts. Did you know that the word Ewok was actually never spoken out loud in the films?
That I did not know.
Yeah, it was only in the final credits of Return of the Jedi did it say Ewok.
I did not know that.
Also, here's another interesting one. Tupac wanted to actually read for the role of Mace Windu. Windu, yeah. He wanted to read for that. But as we all know what happened to Tupac, And I think Samuel L. Jackson I wish Samuel L. Jackson would have been swinging his lightsaber and would have said, "Motherfucker."
It looks like we're reading some facts. It says 21 things that you don't know about Star Wars. So we're on number 3 here. Alan Rickman auditioned for a role in Return of the Jedi. That was before he was the bad guy in Die Hard. The first one, yeah. Imagine the famous words, "Lord Vader, this is an unexpected pleasure. We are honored by your presence," in a big, slow, low voice. This is how Rickman wanted to play Tion Jerjerrod, who originally had a larger role in the 3rd installment. Michael Pennington won the part in the end and went on to double his efforts. Michael Pennington, that's my former brother-in-law's name. And number 4 says, Jar Jar Binks is responsible for the destruction of the Jedi.
Well, Jar Jar Binks is almost responsible for the destruction of the franchise.
Yeah, I was going to say.
E.T. was actually in Star Wars, it says. E.T. they say actually wasn't, but they worked when they did in the Phantom Menace. They showed the Senate. His kind was in the Senate.
Right. They call them the Ahsogians. That's what it says here.
I guess that's what it is.
In Sync had a cameo in the Attack of the Clones, which is that part 2 of the...
I think it was the second one.
Prequel trilogy?
Yeah, I think so. It was Phantom Menace, Attack of the Clones, and then Revenge of the Sith.
Okay.
I mean, and here's another one that was interesting. And I actually watched the 3 movies to see if this was actually true. The line, "I have a bad feeling about this," it is at least in the original 3, and I guess they did it even in the next, the next 6 they made after that.
Looks like it was a Han Solo line, and I can see Harrison Ford saying that. It says Han Solo was the most sensitive to potential impending doom, as he said it more times than anybody else.
Yeah, but it's also saying that it was first uttered by Luke Skywalker in A New Hope.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And
probably like the cantina or something.
No, I don't remember. It was. I think they were on the Millennium Falcon when he said that. They were flying somewhere.
And the colors of lightsabers had a meaning. In earlier times of the Jedi, different colors were used to distinguish between the ranks. So I guess blue or green meant the Jedi was a guardian or a consular. The more exotic colors were made with crystals that were hard to come by and were often passed down through generations, and this distinction fell out of practice in later years with the Jedi.
So what really gets me on that one, okay, is that's something that's been built into the lexicon after the fact.
Right, kind of retconned.
Yeah, in my opinion. I mean, I'm not sure. One of our Star Wars people out there, please let us know. But when it was presented in the original series, the original trilogy, the 3, Luke Skywalker was the color that his dad's was. Obi-Wan's was a blue. Jedi's had blue.
Right.
And
Darth Vader had the red.
And the Empire had red. That was just the way it was. And they when Luke made his own lightsaber, it was green.
Right.
They never explained why it's a green lightsaber. We just assumed that he made it green. I don't know. But this is something that definitely had to come up from fandom.
Oh yeah.
Down the road. I mean, it's
somewhere in the books or something.
But Empire Strikes Back, it was one of the movies that actually had the most stop motion animation in it.
And I remember seeing as a kid, they were showing like on some show I was watching on Saturday after cartoons or something that showed how they filmed the fight scene with Luke and with Darth Vader.
Oh yeah,
and some of the stop motion animation that they had to do to make that work, and like the whole thing where Luke flies out through that window and the window shatters. They showed how they made that, and at the time, obviously no computer animation. The CGI was not there. That had to be done by hand, and it was really, really interesting the way they did it.
ILM was on top of it.
Oh yeah,
then. They in that series what was it? Icons Unearthed or something, was it? The series, yeah. They did one about the Star Wars, and just some of the things that ILM did was just amazing for its time. That opening scene, the first opening scene in Star Wars, where you see Star Wars and it scrolls up A New Hope and everything.
Crawl, the infamous crawl.
It took 3 hours to film the first one.
Wow, and it was about 10 seconds of the movie, 15.
Yeah, I mean, once again, with technology now, it could be done in seconds.
You and I could do it probably, because
But that was interesting. That took 3 hours.
Here's what we were just talking about. "I Am Your Father" was kept a secret even from the cast.
Yeah, that the plan line was Obi-Wan killed your father, and that's what they had, and until they actually said it, which is
both cast and crew believe this to be the real line, except for Mark Hamill, who was told literally moments before the shooting of the scene about the truth of Luke's heritage. So, and at the time when you're a kid and this robotic thing says, "Luke, I'm your father," and you're like, huh?
Yeah.
I'm like, how? But
still though, I mean, it made sense as an adult. You knew the story now.
You're right.
The story started making sense. Star Wars, A New Hope.
My mom guessed when we got back from watching Return of the Jedi. My mom says, "Is Leia Luke's sister?" And she just guessed it. So somehow she figured that one out. But it says here it's impossible to obtain an original theatrical version of Star Wars. Every release since has been altered in some way.
Yeah, and I don't want to say it's for the good at all. You could probably find a VHS tape of it sitting somewhere.
There were also more controversial changes, such as the notorious Han shot first scene. So, Revenge of the Sith has more visual effects than any film in history.
So I want to say that. So I've seen Revenge of the Sith in the theater, and I actually got tired watching it because there was so many. It was so CGI.
Yeah.
I mean, I have shut it off watching it at home because it just gets way too annoying to watch. But I do watch. I've watched it though. I've watched it. I've been there. I've seen it in the theater, but it is not by any choice my favorite movie.
No. The CGI, yeah, it definitely it plays a good part in the Star Wars universe.
But it was overdone.
But when it's overdone, yeah,
it was overdone. It's like it's like, in my opinion, you have the original 3 here,
right?
You have the next 3 here,
episode 1 through 3.
Yeah, and then you have 7, 8, 9
lower than we can show on the camera.
They're somewhere down here, folks.
It says here, porgs actually exist for a good reason.
Yeah, now this is really good, and I looked it up. Where they filmed The Last Jedi, the planet
is it Octu?
Octu, I guess.
Sure, we'll go with that.
I'm sure somebody will comment on that.
Yeah, please correct us if we're wrong.
Yeah, we lost track of planets at Tatooine and Hoth.
You can ask me Star Trek planets. I'm a little bit more with it. Star Wars planets, I don't know all of them.
My God, Jim. Bones. But yeah, they were they actually made porgs digitally to cover up the puffins on the island. The bird, the puffin.
Oh, okay.
There were so many on them, and they couldn't remove them because it would be against the law, and they had nowhere to put them. So
they animated the porgs over the puffin.
The porgs over the puffin, and the puffin shares somewhat of a resemblance to the porg, or to the porg.
This one I knew. Number 15, Yoda and the Muppets.
Oh yeah, we all knew. Yeah,
Miss Piggy are voiced by the same person, Frank Oz. I knew that. It was either my mom or my dad when we first saw some of the movies with Yoda. They said that sounds like Gonzo from.
Yeah,
but it says here Miss Piggy and the
Yoda
Cookie
was
Monster.
actually going to be, before they decided to do it as a puppet, Yoda was going to be a monkey dressed in a Yoda costume.
It's a good thing they didn't do that.
Yeah, I'm happy they did.
Yeah, that would have been a little.
But Daniel Craig actually made an appearance as a stormtrooper in The Force Awakens. I didn't know that. I'm going to have to go back and watch that. Did he ask for a double dry vodka martini, shaken not stirred?
Right.
I mean, did he go up to the bar there on Tatooine and say, I like a double dry vodka martini, shaken not stirred?
Yoda is the Sanskrit word for warrior, which seems to be the subject of debate. It could also be based on the Hebrew word Yodiyah, one who knows.
I like that one better.
Yeah, I was going to say that sounds about right. You're not afraid? You will be.
Yeah.
You will be.
Now, I think I've told you about this. Harrison Ford actually was we saw this actually on that documentary that Harrison Ford was not intended to be Han Solo. Right.
It was a happy accident that they cast
they hired him. He was doing the reads with the people that were.
Well, he was already friends with George Lucas because of what was the movie with the cars in the 50s? American Graffiti, yeah. And so they brought him on just kind of to read with the cast, and he ended up beating out people, including Kurt Russell.
Could you picture Kurt Russell as Han Solo?
I don't know about that. Yeah, Kurt Russell. I just watched Tombstone again the other night. That's a little bit more of the Kurt Russell than I could picture in my head.
Kurt Russell, I think, was like Escape from New York.
Oh, was it No, not Turner and Hooch. What was the one with him and Kurt Russell and was it Sylvester Stallone?
Oh, they were both police officers or detectives or something. I can't think of the name of it.
Yeah, but that's the Kurt Russell I think of, and Tombstone a little bit later. So James Earl Jones recorded all of his Darth Vader lines in a single day. Took 3 hours to do the crawl, but James Earl Jones came in and just blew it away. 2.5 hours to finish the job for the original movie.
Tango and Cash.
Damn internet. He was paid $7,500 or $3,000 an hour for his services. Not bad at all when you consider that Harrison Ford was paid $10,000 for his entire performance in Episode 4. Jones has since explained that Vader is a man who never learned the beauties and subtleties of human expression, so we figured the key to my work was to keep it on a very narrow band of expression. Well, and I mean, he's got that monotone.
And James Earl Jones just has a great voice.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, him, Morgan Freeman, those guys.
There's certain ones that
they just have good narrating voices. I mean.
Another one that's really good that doesn't get credit? Avery Brooks from Deep Space Nine.
Oh yeah,
he did a dinosaurs or something, like Walking with the Dinosaurs. You remember that on the Discovery Channel?
Yeah,
he narrated that. I thought he was excellent.
Yeah, he does. I mean, they all do. Some of those people that they get for the narrations they got great voices. I mean,
yeah,
they don't sound like Bert and Ernie.
Warwick Davis played Wicket the Ewok because R2-D2 got food poisoning. I guess Kenny Baker was also... See, I heard he was drunk.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
Yeah. He was meant to play Wicket the Ewok as well, but Warwick Davis was cast just as an Ewok extra after his grandmother responded to a radio advertisement. But when Baker fell ill with food poisoning... yeah, right. On the day he was meant to begin shooting, Davis got the nod. And here's the one you were just talking about.
And then here we go. Yoda was originally going to be played by a monkey, in a monkey with a mask and a cane. I mean...
No.
Yeah. And she still can't. I mean, in all the newer Star Wars movies, in the prequels, I don't think Frank Oz did the voice.
I think Frank Oz was passed on by
No,
then.
I think Frank Oz is still alive. Actually, let's consult Google here.
So,
Frank Oz. Here we go. Let's see here. Nope, he's still kicking.
Oh, okay.
He's 79. He's still kicking.
I'm thinking of the guy who did Bugs Bunny's voice.
Mel Blanc.
Mel Blanc, that's the way. Yeah.
Mel Blanc.
So.
Yeah, he's long since passed.
And we've got us another Star Wars story here.
So yeah, if any of you out there, have never, ever, never, which I think it's almost impossible.
Were you under a rock?
Yeah, did you?
Did you live in a cave?
No, he actually was he did the voice of Yoda in the original ones.
Frank Oz?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm looking at it here. Or in the prequel. So, no, he did. But he didn't have to actually hold the puppet, though. He was all animated. I bet he was happy about that.
Yeah.
Because they were saying Yoda weighed a lot.
Yeah. It was like Alf. I'm sure Alf was a lot of fun to run around in that costume.
Oh, I bet that was a blast. But yeah, if you've never seen a Star Wars movie, anybody out there, first and foremost, I've got to say, if you've never seen a Star Wars movie, get a life.
Even though those of you who haven't seen it probably are telling us who do like Star Wars to get a life.
Get a life, yeah. Get with the culture, folks.
Right.
So, yeah. So go on here with that.
All right. A financial advice website is seeking someone who has never seen a single Star Wars movie to watch every single film in the Skywalker saga, the original 9 episodes, not any of the side stories, and make $1,000 in the process. Finance Buzz is the name of the financial advice website, has announced that it's celebrating today, Star Wars Day, aka May the 4th, by paying someone $1,000 to watch all 9 of the Skywalker saga films.
Does that $1,000 also include? Is that there for your snacks and everything? I mean,
depends on who's watching it.
do they give you
if it's comic book guy or something, then yeah.
Do they give you like a porta potty or something saying to get up? You can watch them just straight through.
Maybe.
Or no,
like one of those recliner chairs from Idiocracy.
Oh yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Or better yet, a cup on an airplane.
Oh yeah.
So, pair of Depends. I mean,
yeah.
Anyways, go on.
They say, we're looking for someone who's brand new to the franchise, a first-timer to the Force, a true young Jedi, to rate and evaluate the saga from an outsider's perspective. We will use our Wookiee Rookies analysis for an upcoming story on the franchise.
So this is my thought, and they're taking applications on this through today, May 4th. So if you guys are listening to this on the day it goes live, it's not going to be May 4th.
Too late for you.
Too late for you. They're sort of doing it as in the article they went on saying about how you're going to watch it in chronological order by release date. So you start off with episode 4, you do 5, 6, and then you go see 1, 2, 3, and then you see 7, 8, 9. So here's my thought. It's also part of the whole upcoming 25th anniversary of the Phantom Menace, which I will go and see in the theaters again.
Oh, they're coming out with that?
Yeah, they're going to re-release it. Disney is going to re-release it.
Okay.
Disney, if there's any opportunity to make money, they'll do it.
Yeah.
And if it's Star Wars that goes around the original ones, I'll buy into it. But how do you feel for that person? So they're going to be like, oh, great, I get to sit down and watch this. You get $1,000. It's help to pay for your. It's there to pay for your streaming costs and everything, and then to go see the film, the re-release of Phantom Menace. But how would it be? So okay, you've never watched Star Wars at all. You've never seen any of the 9 movies. Okay, so you watch you watch A New Hope. You're like, ooh, this is pretty good. Empire Strikes Back. Not bad. Return of the Jedi. Oh my God, that's great. He's his father,
but not as good as the second one. Not as good as Empire Strikes Back. I know. In your opinion, in my opinion,
but.
If you've never seen any of those,
but if you've never seen it, how would the letdown be to go then from Return of the Jedi, Phantom Menace, Phantom Menace, Clone Wars, Revenge of the Sith, and then whatever the other 3 were called. I mean, you take them up to here, and then you just start.
Right.
Yeah,
like
going back.
Roadrunner and Wile E. Coyote.
Yeah. Well, everybody, so may the 4th be with you. I think it's time that we go on to our every episode find of our strange and wacky world records. What say you?
Let's do it.
Let's get on with some weird and wacky world records. Okay, we're back, folks, with our strange world records. We do this every episode, and there's always something interesting that comes out in the world record challenge. So,
yeah, who would think of this one? But I guess if you've ever been labeled as a tree hugger,
yeah,
you might want to not take it as literally as this guy did.
Yeah, go on here with that.
A man from Ghana that was studying forestry in Alabama set a world record for most trees hugged in an hour when he hugged 1,123 trees at the Tuskegee National Forest.
Tuskegee.
Whatever. Those Tuskegee, whatever. Abubakar Tahiru, again, I apologize for the butchery, became interested in nature conservation.
And folks, this is why he reads the story, so I don't have to butcher names.
or the rest of the words. This guy became interested in nature conservation while growing up in a farming community in Tepa, Ghana. He is pursuing a master's degree in forestry at Auburn University. The record attempt required that Tahiru wrap both of his arms around each tree in a close embrace without causing any damage to the trees. So if he accidentally, like a gust of wind came over or something and he fell over, whoops, killed a tree, disqualified. No tree could be hugged more than once, requiring Tahiru to move quickly between each hug. Tahiru was fasting for Ramadan at the time of his record attempt, which presented another challenge. Not being able to drink water throughout the attempt posed a significant challenge, especially given the physical exertion required. I guess hugging a lot of trees is very, very exhausting.
I don't think the hugging the trees is exhausting. It's the running between them.
Oh, okay. Getting from tree to tree?
Yeah, fast enough.
Tree hopping was...
Tree hopping is what's exhausting.
However, this also proved to be helpful in a way, as there was no need to pause for water breaks, allowing me to continue the attempt uninterrupted from start to finish. He averaged 19 trees per minute, and he easily surpassed the minimum requirement of 700 trees to establish the record.
That is...
Take that, tree huggers.
I want to see David Rush beat that one.
Right? Yeah, David, challenge accepted.
Yeah, accept the challenge to hug trees. The next one we got up here, I wonder if these are actually hair extensions or something.
Right?
So let's go on with this world record.
Sweetie the miniature horse has the longest tail on a mini horse at almost 6 feet
here's a
long.
picture of Sweetie, okay?
Yeah, the tail is bigger than Sweetie is.
Which one? Who is Sweetie? The one on the right or the left?
Boom, boom. Yeah. Now, be nice to our horse owner there. On April 30th, this story comes from UPI. A miniature horse in South Carolina broke a world record for longest tail on a miniature horse, with locks measuring 5 feet, 11.26 inches. The horse named Sweetie stands 3 feet, 1 inch tall, so its tail is twice as big as it is, and is 36 years old. Her owner, Risa Formisano.
You've got like all the weird names this week.
I know. Well, what's up with these stories, man?
It shouldn't be odd news stories. Just be odd news stories with odd names.
Right? Yeah. Well, she's named after a Star Trek planet, the Pleasure Planet, Risa.
Risa. Oh, that's true. Yep.
She told Guinness World Records that she wraps up Sweetie's tail to keep it from dragging behind her. She also washes and conditions it twice a year. That's like my ex-wife used to use that mane and tail conditioner. I wonder if that's what she uses. You ever seen that stuff?
Yeah, I've seen it.
Formisano brought Sweetie home in 2012 to comfort 2 horses after the death of another horse. Her owner was looking to rehome her at the time. I went to this barn, trailer in tow, and picked up Sweetie. She hopped right in the trailer, and the rest is history. Sweetie's tail first reached the ground in 2012 and has been growing ever since, so they must have groomed it off at the other place.
Yeah, I don't know.
So,
that
Sweetie the horse.
I didn't know that they had a world record for the longest horse tail. I mean, there is so many strange. Look at that. I mean,
few people that would qualify as the world's biggest horse's ass, but
yeah, that's true.
Some people might say that's me, but
now the next world record was actually sort of cool. I mean, this one actually took some skill, I would say.
Yeah. It says James Holmesley with a WH, a British YouTube engineering channel host, has built the world's biggest remote-controlled aircraft carrier model according to Guinness World Records. He also landed 2 remote control model planes on the 16.46-foot model carrier, scoring another world's record. That'd be cool.
That would actually
That would be really cool.
I wish there was video of it, but what we got here is a picture. There it is. I mean, that thing, I'd be afraid of that thing in combat.
Right?
That can coming down there. I'd be more afraid of that because those are like
those. It'd be more like the drone carrier.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I was going towards. So,
the project took him 3 months. The model aircraft carrier is made from wood, foam, and fiberglass.
The YouTube channel Project Air is attempting to do something.
Once the aircraft expanding foam was used to make it waterproof. Once the aircraft carrier model was built, Holmesley had to learn how to fly the remote-controlled planes, and then after several failed attempts, how to land them on the carrier, and he had to modify the planes to do so. To have this idea and then actually make it work, that's amazing, he said.
Well, that just took engineering.
Yeah.
I mean, to be able to...
And he added first-person view cameras to the model aircraft to be able to better see them during the landings. The model planes he used were modified by ready-to-fly models. The test flights and landings were done at Rudyard Lake in Staffordshire, and one of the model planes crashed into the water during testing.
Well, I'm sure during World War II, when the propellered planes were landing, they did crash into the water sometimes.
His YouTube video channel shows his several attempts to land the planes as well as part of the building process. He had already set a previous Guinness World Record with the fastest remote-controlled jet-powered car, which hit 94.76 miles per hour, according to the Guinness World Records. The car used a JetCat 220 engine with aluminum chassis, and after hitting the record-setting speed, it was destroyed on a third run after achieving 141 miles per hour.
Wow. A remote-control car was that?
It was like, driving to Vegas in the 90s.
Yeah, I know. That's amazing.
But that's just cool. That
is just a cool. And there is a video on Guinness World Records. I wish I would have seen this when we were doing production. You know what? Actually, let's once again the miracle of
post-production.
Let's go ahead and cut to the scene, and here we go, guys. Here comes the video. Oh, not yet. Here it comes.
James from the YouTube channel Project Air is attempting to do something that no one has ever tried before. He wants to land an RC plane on an RC aircraft carrier. But how did we get here? It took James months of planning and building to create the aircraft carrier, a task that created an array of problems along the way.
It's extremely stressful. We've been going at this for ages now, and we're not really sure whether it's going to work or not.
Even learning to fly and land the planes was a challenge in itself.
Okay, using the rudder, grab it in. Oh!
By installing FPV systems into the planes, this would make the process of piloting a lot easier. Fiberglass skinning the carrier was also carried out to make it stronger.
It feels very strong now. Oh yeah, we're gonna be fine.
Through all of its amazing efforts, the aircraft carrier was built and ready for action.
Yes! It works!
James has 3 RC model airplanes at his disposal to see if any of them can land on the aircraft carrier.
I've been waiting for this moment for about 3 or 4 months now. And now it all comes down to my flying skills. Clear for takeoff. Oh, look at that! It works! Now I'm just using the throttle to modulate ourselves towards the deck. Oh!
Missed it! Stuck!
Coming in! can't really see it, it's so bright.
Oh,
Square as the deck.
not very square. Abort. Oh, you're lifting a bit high. Come to your left a little bit. Yep. Right. Left. Left. Oh! Abort. Abort. This looks promising. Left, 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 left. Right. Oh, I think. Yes! No, abort! Ah!
I was fully expecting just to see the water then. On the goggles, I just expected to see it all. Victorious! Woo! Well done. Oh, we did it. Oh, there we go. I'm looking.
Looking great. Good. Bit higher, bit higher. Oh yeah, abort. Left, two right. Abort, you're in the water. Abort, up, up.
Oh no. Well, that was a lot more difficult than the previous attempt with the Aero Scout. Turns out that not being able to see properly with the cockpit in the way makes a big difference. Okay, third and final one of the day. Let's see if we can land a warbird on the deck of this aircraft carrier. It's way more advanced than any of the other planes that I've flown so far. You can also see far less through the FPV camera, and I've never flown it before. So what could go wrong?
Abort!
Yeah. Have to duck here if I get it wrong. Steady, steady, steady. Yes! I can't believe it! We did it! And we got a Corsair on the deck! A Corsair on the deck! Oh my goodness me! How did that happen?
2 out of the 3 RC model planes managed to land on the RC model aircraft carrier, not only allowing James to complete his latest challenge, but it also allowed him to achieve a Guinness World Records title along the way.
Victory! To have this idea and then it actually work, that's amazing. That's cool.
All right, so I hope you guys all like that. I mean, it was fascinating. It was fascinating to watch to see him actually getting the planes to land on the aircraft carrier and take off, and very cool. I mean,
As a kid, that would be like one of the ultimate cool things you could ever do.
yeah, it you know, I would honestly say it was a good 5 minutes of my life. Almost 6. I mean, but. Okay, so
Lastly, we've got our friend David Rush.
Yeah, we always have David Rush, and
David, if you're out there, call us sometime.
yeah, send us an email. We're thetalkinggruse@thegruse.com because we are fascinated with your record breaking.
And your drive to do so.
Yeah, and the drive, because we want to break some records, but we just don't have the drive. Well, really, it's the time.
Or the time.
The time.
Yeah.
The time is really it. So when I was going through doing research for this episode, I see an article that pops up that says, man spins fire sword 73 times in 30 seconds, captures 166 world records, 66th world record. And the first thing that came to mind was
David Rush.
David Rush, yep. So why don't we go on here?
David Rush, who has broken more than 250 Guinness World Records and currently holds 166 titles, previously set the 1-minute version for the record of the most throws and catches of a fire sword at 136.
And there he is spinning the fire sword, guys.
No, thank you. His initial attempt at the 30-second record was disqualified. Did he burn his hand or something?
Now, my question is, did he... Now, I would like to see him actually spin the fire sword while balancing the lawnmower and drinking lemon juice.
Try that one on for size, right?
Yeah.
He renewed his efforts to capture the title, and despite singeing the hair from the back of his hand, managed to throw and catch the flaming sword 73 times in 30 seconds, breaking the previous record of 60. No word on whether that was his record or somebody else's, but probably somebody else's. Rush's 166th Guinness World Records title brings him a step closer to overtaking Silvio Saba, who currently holds 180 titles.
So
if we can just get one in there,
yeah,
I'd be happy.
This is a man on a mission, though.
Right.
And that's the thing that's interesting. He is actively looking for things he can do to beat this person. And once he hits 181, we know we're going to start seeing articles about her, about Sylvia.
Oh, I think that was a dude.
Or a guy?
Yeah.
Silvio? Yeah, Silvio.
Silvio Saba, and I think he's, Rush is here in the United States, but I think this guy was somewhere in the European.
But we're going to see
countries.
articles about Silvio.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I can guarantee that we will see articles about Silvio.
Overtaking David Rush.
Yeah, and it's going to be like
a healthy competition.
It is.
Though. Yeah.
Somebody's going to either cut their face off or burn their arm or something. I mean...
Sad to say, today David Rush, his efforts to continue world record breaking have hit an end. Yeah. Sorry, David, we really don't want that to happen to you.
No, we actually do want to see you to take the 181 world records. That would be amazing. And once again,
do it for America.
Hashtag David Rush. Guinness World Records. But yeah, that man is amazing. I love reporting on his on what he. I mean, it just floors me.
And it seems like there's always something. Every 2 weeks we come back and there's a new David Rush.
Yeah, he's always doing something. I mean, that's the awesome thing about this. So, well, I got to say, I think I'm going to go home and watch Return of the Jedi.
I'm going to go drive a van and get a cheese board.
Excellent. But May 4th, you got to do a start. You got to try to squeeze your Empire Strikes Back in there.
Yeah. I don't have Disney Plus anymore though.
If you go to Sling, just type it in and see where it's at. I'm sure you can watch it streaming.
Yeah. And if not, I still have the original trilogy on VHS somewhere.
Somewhere.
You
couldn't find it today, but
I need to find a VCR to play it.
Yeah, that would be the other thing.
I have the trilogy. Whether I have the equipment to play the trilogy, different story altogether.
eBay.
Well, ain't gonna happen today.
Maybe Amazon.
Definitely not gonna happen today.
I mean, I don't know if you could get a VHS player on Amazon.
So, well.
Yeah, with that being said, the music, I can hear it coming on. Everybody, please follow us, like us, subscribe, click the little bell, get notifications of all of our shorts.
We hit 50. Let's
we hit more. 50. We want 50. We've had a number of views. We hit 50 subscribers. Let's go for 50 more. That would be great. But until then, I think it's time we put this baby to bed.
Yep, we'll see you in 2 weeks.
2 weeks, everybody. Have a good one.